Hello, everyone.
Hello.
This little man is
Anthony.
I am Daddy. We are trying out our first true live version of Sorgi Sports Weekend. Absolutely. So give us your comments as you listen to us in our first ever true live edition. We experimented with this last week.
Yeah, last week it took us 4 attempts, but we got it all down now. We were having some issues, so
we're
good now.
We are talking tonight about sports, but not just sports, obviously. You're going to see something over in the comments. We know many of you are travel fans.
Yep.
We would love for you to tell us your favorite city, country, place in general that you love to travel to that begins with the letter A.
Or if you want to go there. I don't know any
Yeah,
place.
if you haven't been there yet.
Yeah, I don't even know if I've ever been to a place with the letter
A. Yes, we have.
Oh, well, Anaheim. But...
Exactly. You've been to a baseball game there, as a matter of fact. We have our first commenter from Brazil.
Yes.
Jasmine Maria, if I'm saying that correctly. If not, I apologize. We have Chris joining us from Ohio.
Hello.
Chris Learning, thank you for chiming in with us as we do this maiden voyage that's not a test. But we're going to link in, since we're talking about cities that we've traveled to that begin with A and places that we've been to that begin with A. We're going to link in our Anaheim video.
Yeah.
Right here in the comments if you want to go and check it out. Our experience there. Where you went to
the Orioles at the Angels at Angel Stadium.
City Girl Travels, thanks for joining us.
Hello.
This time I hope the audio is working compared to last time.
But yeah, Anaheim, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Where we went to Phoenix.
Absolutely.
Places I want to go, probably either Atlanta or Athens, Greece.
Oh yes, either one of those, or Australia.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about Athens, Greece. The Bucks lost to the Knicks today with some injuries. Giannis from Athens. That's for sure a bucket list spot.
Yeah, by far. So definitely check out our experiences from our Anaheim and our Arizona trips. We've linked them in the comments, and tell us your favorite place that you want to go to or that you have been to, city or country or
State,
something,
province, region,
or something that you enjoyed that begins with the letter A. You can hear us loud and clear, Sooner Girl Travels. Thank you. And Wayside Wade, a fellow cheesehead, thanks for popping in and joining us. And Mary joining from Milwaukee. It is a pleasure to have you on board with us. Well, we've got a lot to discuss tonight.
Yeah.
We're going to take your comments, talk about what you want to talk about, but the things that have been with swirling in our heads, of course, we being sports junkies, it's been football.
Yes.
Green Bay Packers. You see the graphic that we used in the discussion for tonight's video. No Aaron Rodgers, no problem. Possibly with Jordan Love, but that is something completely different showed up today. And you had a chance to sort of pay attention to it after school. I was all over it and having to cover it, as a matter of fact, even for my new station here in Philadelphia, KYW News Radio. That being the Aaron Rodgers discussion on the Pat McAfee show.
It's an interesting story. And take the medical part and the political part out of this, and look straight at, if you get vaccinated, that puts your team at an advantage because you're not risking being out. That's the biggest thing. Super weird story. Still trying to wrap my head around it.
I think a lot of people are. And I'm not going to get into the entire discussion of should you be vaccinated, should you be unvaccinated. That's your choice.
Yeah.
We have our own feelings on that, and with what we're choosing to do as a family, but that's not what what the real point of this situation really is about. He flat out lied.
Yeah, he said he was immunized, which it was at the least deceiving. He thought he was immunized, sort of, kind of, but he really I don't know. It's all around the center.
He was trying to use homeopathic ways of getting immunized from COVID-19 when there are really 3 ways to get immunized from COVID-19. It's called one of 3 different shots.
Yeah, he was allergic to the Pfizer and Moderna shots, apparently.
But not the Johnson & Johnson. According to what he said on the Pat McAfee show.
There have been blood clot problems, which I guess he was afraid of.
But the thing was, at the point at which he claimed that there were blood clot problems, there had been 8 million Johnson & Johnson vaccines that had been issued by the point that Aaron Rodgers had, quote unquote, made his decision he didn't want to use it, and he was concerned about blood clots. There were 15 blood clot cases among 8 million.
And apparently, actually, I was just apparently, I know someone who actually had a family member have that happen just recently.
Okay. But was it vaccine caused?
I think so.
That's
it seems like that
insanely rare.
Yeah, it's so rare though.
Based on the percentages that we were citing there. So it's the fact that he was saying I'm immunized instead of saying I'm vaccinated and trying to say, no, I didn't lie about that. He was clearly trying to get the message across.
Yeah.
And then there are questions of what are the things that he did.
Yeah.
What in terms of his activities with fellow players, teammates,
media?
As well as others. Yes, with media. The fact that he was unmasked with media when he's supposed to be masked if he is not vaccinated, as well as the fact that he had been doing various activities with teammates that are against National Football League protocols. If you go to a site called defector.com, they did a fantastic study on this of the things that he did, one of which includes going to dinner with teammates, which is against league protocols, especially for traveling. But you can't spend time with teammates more than like 3 or 4 out in a public setting at dinner. And he did that with David Bakhtiari, his great friend, world-class left tackle of the Green Bay Packers, and a whole bunch of other teammates at a dinner event. And there's proof of it on Bakhtiari's Instagram page.
Yeah, there is proof.
So Aaron Rodgers has a whole lot of explaining to do. As Wayside Wade puts it, the politics of word choice. Rodgers and the Packers are now being investigated by the National Football League.
That's the big thing here, because this is, chances are, Rodgers' last year as a Packer.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be interesting to watch it play out, because there could be some consequences to this.
Oh, easily.
Including Rodgers being suspended, putting Jordan Love in this spotlight. He's already in it. That's, I think, what Packers fans need to be nervous but excited about.
It's it's what we were expecting was going to happen at some point soon. Brian Gutekunst, the general manager, basically putting his entire job on the line when he traded up to pick Jordan Love in the first round of the NFL draft in recent years. And now, for the first time, we're going to see what has panned out with it. And, we're going to finally see the evidence when they play the Kansas City Chiefs in what could be a fascinating game on Sunday.
Yeah.
And what the Packers' future is going to be. Let's jump back into the travel discussion. Chris, learning from Ohio, talking about her favorite travel place that begins with the letter A, Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Ooh.
Not easy to come up with an A place for travel. I completely understand.
Yeah, it's not easy.
But that is a beautiful spot. We have been close to that on our travels before you were born.
Yep, I was about to say, I ain't ever been
You give me that evil eye.
Kentucky. I ain't never been south of Kentucky.
But, oh, yes, you have. North Carolina, South Carolina.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, South Carolina, I have.
But Gulf Shores, Alabama, we've been close. We flew in one time for one of my wife's friend's weddings. Flew in from Chicago to Mobile, Alabama on a direct flight, and then rented a car to go from Mobile to Pensacola. One of the cool things about Mobile, Alabama that I'd love to take you to, Hank Aaron Field.
I knew. Yep, from Mobile, correct?
Correct, absolutely. Sooner Girl Travels, your husband is saying Arkansas. You're close by there. We've seen some of your adventures in Arkansas.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. If you like to go see the beauty of Arizona especially the mountains, the rock formations. I am such a huge fan of Arizona. Been there twice, once for our baseball travels.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the link in our description, or I should say in the comments there, from our Brewers Arizona Diamondbacks game, and that'll link to some other videos that we've done from there. But the natural beauty of that place is off the charts. So off the charts. And I recommend you to go to Sooner Girl Travels channel. She has some fantastic videos from Arizona.
Yeah.
Fantastic videos from Arizona. Mary mentioning that in Milwaukee, our old hometown, the weather's supposed to be in the 60s this weekend in Milwaukee in November.
50s here.
We're going to get 60s lit next week.
Oh, sweet. Okay, good. Yeah.
So,
finally, yeah, the kid, I have to say, Philadelphia, a lot different than Milwaukee, mainly in the people, in the way that they're used to the cold.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely are in a place that's about 10 degrees warmer on average than Milwaukee is. So, absolutely. Jacob, talking about how I sent a tweet talking about how you were becoming eligible now for the vaccine since you're at the age, and that there's a bit of a letdown seeing what happened with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it is sad, but as I was saying, Jordan Love, we watched him in the preseason.
Yep.
He didn't play great, but this is his opportunity to shine, and he knows that he's going into a big stage against the Kansas City Chiefs.
And this could be a very interesting game too, in the chase to somehow try and keep Davante Adams in a Packers uniform next year. Because if Davante Adams finds that he has a fantastic rhythm with Jordan Love, like he does with Aaron Rodgers, I'm not going to say Love is going to be Aaron Rodgers, but if he finds a good rhythm with him and realizes this is the kind of player I can play with in my future, wow. Maybe
we have something. Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, probably both gonna have good days.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be a day where we get to see Jordan Love's abilities as a quarterback, what he can do on the NFL stage.
Thank you, Jacob, saying, well said. I'm so pumped to see how Love does. This kid is a natural.
Thank you.
You are awesome, kiddo. So many ways. Chris mentioning that you went to a minor league baseball game in Pensacola when you visited Gulf Shores. Beautiful stadium with a view. That may need to be on our list.
Yeah, I'm actually wearing a minor league jersey right now. The Wilmington Blue Rocks. You can go check out that video somewhere.
We'll link that in fact, from the jersey that we got him at the Wilmington Blue Rocks game, which has been our second most watched video, by the way.
Yeah, I was just scrolling through our YouTube videos. I was shocked to see that it had 1,000 views.
Yeah, we were able to take advantage of some connections and getting some extra viewership on that one. So forgive me here as I type in Wilmington vid. Thank you. I'm glad that you don't mind looking at my balding head while I type. So thank you so much. And Sooner Girl saying, the only game you've ever been to with your husband going to a Kansas City Royals game during your honeymoon.
Kauffman Stadium, awesome place.
Kauffman Stadium is fantastic. Did you see the waterfalls, Sooner Girl Travels?
Oh, the waterfalls. The mini golf.
There's mini golf.
The frozen custard there. All the awesome stuff that they have at Kauffman Stadium. I cannot wait to go.
Yes, that's on our list. Had Kansas City not been the Brewers and Royals games, had that not been in Kansas City during the school year, we might have gone.
Yeah, because that was a weeknight in May.
Yeah, so I mean, that might be in 3 years. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to get out there 3, maybe 6 years. Absolutely. You have a passion that is a newfound passion of yours, I think, this year that I've never seen you have before about this sport until this calendar year.
Yeah, I started getting into it a little bit last year, and the year before that, college football.
This kid's turned into a huge college football fan.
Yeah. Sooner Girl Travels as an Oklahoma fan, I can imagine your outrage, like I had.
Outrage?
About the.
Oh, yes, what you're about to bring up.
Yes. these rankings that came out.
Time out. We're going to get to this, but Sooner Girl just blew my mind here. You saw Bo Jackson play. You saw Bo Jackson, arguably the greatest pure athlete of the second half of the 20th century. You saw him play in Kansas City.
Wow.
In a sport that maybe he was even better at than football. And he won the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
I have seen video recently of Bo Jackson doing archery. He is a master archer. I still say, United States archery team, get him in for the next Summer Olympics in Paris. Even at his age, I think he could compete for medals.
Yeah.
He is that dedicated to it and that good. I'd love to see if he can compete on the international stage and be the first ever, at least the first since Jim Thorpe, to compete in baseball, football, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the Olympic Games. But let's get back, Chris, as you were mentioning, let's get to the college football rankings, the playoff rankings. We could have an entire discussion of how screwed up the college football playoff system is, and this is a good reflection.
So let's look at the top 10. They had number 1 Georgia, number 2 Alabama, number 3 Michigan State, number 4 Oregon, number 5 Ohio State, number 6 Cincinnati, number 7 Michigan, number 8 Oklahoma, number 9 Wake Forest, and number 10 Notre Dame. There are 3 things that you have to look at immediately.
Or that he looks at immediately, at least.
Number 1, Alabama at number 2.
Well, there's one reason why Alabama's number 2. Because they've lost one game, and they're Alabama.
Yeah, they make money. Then, here's the other thing. Cincinnati at number 6, undefeated team, under Oregon and Ohio State.
After the fact that they've beaten Notre Dame on the road.
Notre Dame and Indiana on the road. That's pretty
Indiana,
shaky, but they're a Big Ten team.
Yeah.
That's the point. In the third thing, 2 undefeated teams at 8 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
My rankings, I think, and I've talked this over with other college football fans, I think they're much more reasonable. Number 1, Georgia. That's undisputed.
Undeniable.
Number 2 and 3, I put Michigan State above Cincinnati.
They just had a massive win over Michigan.
You can flip them. Number 4 and 5 need to be Oklahoma and Wake Forest. You can, again, flip them however you want to put them.
So, Sooner Girl, Oklahoma right now would be in his college football playoff.
I got him at number 4. Number 6, 7, and 8, and 9 need to be Bama, Ohio State, Michigan, and Oregon. Those are the 6 through 9 teams, and Notre Dame needs to be at number 10. There's really no one good enough, in my opinion, that could be high enough. Notre Dame isn't good enough to be bumped up. So, yeah, I've got 1 Georgia, 2 Michigan State, 3 Cincinnati, 4 Oklahoma, 5 Wake Forest, so the 5 undefeated teams in my top 5. 6 Bama, 7 Ohio State, 8 Michigan, 9 Oregon, 10 Notre Dame.
Any of you got a favorite college football team?
Yeah.
Please mention it in the comments. The team you love, if you pay attention to college football and have your thoughts on what the rankings should be for college football's playoff, tell us what you would suggest. We'll quickly go to the comments. Wayside Wade, going back to our Bo Jackson discussion. Bo knows, and it still applies to this day. Incredible. Such an amazing athlete. And Splash saying, I'm embarrassed and sad for the Milwaukee Bucks.
That was a sad loss, as I said earlier.
And you should mention who they lost to.
Yeah, the New York Knicks.
Improving team, but
yeah. So the Bucks haven't been playing well, and it all comes down to injuries. They've had so many injury problems. Once we can get Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez back, I think this team, they've got the potential right now. They're just not up to full health. Once they're at full health, they'll be back to normal. We struggled early last year. I think we're struggling, but we'll pick it up like we did last year.
The Milwaukee Bucks will improve. They are not playing like the best team in basketball right now. They simply aren't, but you don't have to play that way in November.
Yeah.
You just need to play well enough to get yourself in position to where when it really matters, which is April, May, and June, that you're going to be in the tournament and you've got yourself a chance to be the best team in basketball.
Like they were last year.
Exactly. Now, going to the college football discussion, talking about the fact, and I may bring this up ad nauseum during our Friday night talk, so keep joining us. Friday nights, we're going to tentatively plan to keep doing this 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 Central every Friday night. I think the reason why Alabama is number 2 is because they're going to play Georgia, at least at the current pace, when it comes to the college football playoff. They're going to play for the SEC title. And basically the thought process is if Alabama wins that game, both they and Georgia get in, and you have 2 SEC spots. And teams that are deserving, undefeated teams perhaps, such as an Oklahoma, such as a Cincinnati, aren't going to get the shot because the college football playoffs actual pure desire is not to find the best team in college football.
It's to it at one point.
Money.
It's money, and what makes the money? Keeping the group of 5 out of the playoff, especially. But now is what has really messed it up. But now, honestly, I would not be surprised after realignment if it turns into the SEC versus everyone.
That's what seems
Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC makes it possible for there to be 4 SEC teams in the playoff.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
That is absolutely scary.
You see at least 2 every year, you would think.
Yeah.
Under the current system, which I think is going to change anyway.
It's ridiculous. Also, staying in the football world, the sad news of the Henry Ruggs accident.
Yes.
That was really sad. If you didn't hear, former Alabama and Raiders receiver Henry Ruggs was involved in a crash. He crashed in to him and his girlfriend, their car crashed into another car. That car, the 23-year-old and lady inside of it and her dog both passed away.
156 miles an hour, according to police, at least in this current stage of the investigation. That's how fast they were traveling. The judge and the investigator both said that is the fastest speed they have ever seen in any case that they've been involved with.
And Ruggs had double the amount of legal alcohol in him. So he was in a wheelchair in court, placed on a $150,000 bail with a very high level of house arrest.
And again, this is why just if you've had alcohol, don't drive.
Yeah.
Real simple. Chris with some comments. Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Bearcats that are his sort of somewhat, although his favorite team besides West Virginia.
They're my favorite group of 5 teams. Well, second favorite, Marshall, of course. That's where my grandma went to school.
They were hurt in the rankings because of closer games against not good teams, but Cincinnati's good because of their defense, but they're not getting as many points off of defensive turnovers.
Well, look at this. The Tulane game. They beat Tulane by more than a touchdown. Oklahoma only beat them by like 1 point. Right. So that's one thing I will give the playoff committee props for is that amount of sense, but I think that's like half of the sense they have.
You also mentioned the fact that you think this year maybe Ohio State will lose to Michigan.
I see Michigan State beating Ohio State, but that's it.
Jim Harbaugh, Michigan coach, again, proving that he is not a top big game coach. In the biggest game of your season, the biggest drive of your season, in the fourth quarter, on the road, and you stick in a freshman quarterback? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Hey, it worked for Oklahoma, but not Michigan. Oklahoma had their freshman quarterback save the game against Kansas. But I will say, Oklahoma, not some great games, but they found a way to win in so many matchups. Michigan,
I'm trying to see how long I can hold this.
But on that touchdown play for Michigan State, watch that replay.
Yep.
That Michigan defense 100% just choked. They choked under pressure. The entire team and Jim Harbaugh choked under pressure.
Chris, you mentioned that you hope that Cincinnati gets to the top 4.
I wish.
I'm 50-50 that they're going
wish.
to if they go undefeated. Because especially if Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC title game, that's going to take away one of the spots for a deserving Cincinnati Bearcats team. So as he's trying to find something.
Hold on. I just want to check something quickly. Because I saw your Boston College shirt, and they play tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
They're my Jesuit college football team that I root for, but very, very casually.
That's top 25. None of the teams. I hate how does anyone else not like? I can't stand how Google only does the top 25 of games. I want all of the games, not just the top 25.
That's a very heavy college football fan type of complaint.
Let me go to. Let's see what.
All right. While he's searching, again, tell us your thoughts about the subjects that we're talking about. We are also talking travel today. Our favorite places that we've traveled to or that we want to travel to. Cities, countries, particular points of interest that begin with the letter A. I can tell you that I've been to 2 A states, Alabama and Arizona. We've discussed both of those. Boston College beating Virginia Tech 17-3. Yay, Jesuits.
Eagles.
And I root for them particularly because Marquette football is undefeated since 1960.
Ring out of Hoya.
Yeah, they won their basketball opener, by the way. So,
they did.
I forget who they even played. It was like some Division III team.
Hey, I'm really excited about Marquette basketball this year. There's potential with Shaka Smart.
Give them a year, I think. I would say if they're better than 500, I'm happy. If they get to the tournament, fantastic. And I think that they're going to become a better team in the tournament.
Yeah.
They'll be a better team at the point of the tournament that they are now. They just need time to develop. Places that I've been to, that I want to travel to, that begin with the letter A. Number 1, you mentioned Athens, Greece. Number 2, the country of Australia.
Yeah,
so bad.
I agree with those 2. I also want to go to Atlanta. He's been there. I haven't.
I love the city of Atlanta. Been there, I want to say, was it once or twice? I actually went there on business in 2014 for a project that is actually going to be part of a book I'm going to be releasing, hopefully very soon.
Yeah.
Ideally, early next year. You'll find out what that's all about. Jeremy Johnston joined the conversation saying, I've been to Austria with my dad. Hoya. Is that ring out of Hoya with an N-U-R-R, or is that Georgetown Hoyas? They're both Jesuits, so they're both good.
Yeah.
We like our ring out of Hoyas more than their Hoyas, but they're still good people. They're all Jesuits.
There was a joke on YouTube where they were asking college kids, what does ring out of Hoya mean? And someone said that we're gonna ring out those Hoyas when we play, whatever that means.
Now, as someone you talk about Austria. Vienna, Austria is a fantastic city of history. I believe the Danube River goes right through it.
I just learned about Austria in social studies, so kind of got some knowledge there.
If you ever watch alpine skiing, Kitzbühel, Austria, was the course that was part of the 1976 Olympics in Innsbruck, Austria. If you ever want to watch crazy downhill skiing, some of the toughest and some of the fastest you'll ever see, Kitzbühel, Austria. It is world-class alpine skiing. There you go, Jeremy. Ring out of Hoya with an M-U-R-R.
Woo!
That's awesome.
2 big games coming up for Marquette. We've got Wisconsin and UCLA, both on Fox. Those are going to be great.
December. Cyril Travels mentioning you've been to Antigua, Guatemala. Yes, that counts as an A, 100%. Antigua, Guatemala. That was a fascinating part of the world.
Yeah, that is a very interesting answer.
I recently watched a video from the channel If We Go To. Great couple from San Diego that's doing worldwide travel. They just arrived in Costa Rica. They have actually a soccer team in Costa Rica that is, is it in San Jose, Costa Rica, the capital city? You'd have to look it up if you ever want to watch the series American Football, FUTBOLs in soccer. It's this group of Americans that traveled down through Mexico, Central America, and down to Brazil in 2014 for the World Cup. They found this really cool soccer club owned by an American who basically saved that town's soccer club at the top level.
Hold on, I just thought of another one. Abruzzo, Italy.
Oh, by far. 25% of my ancestry comes from Abruzzo, the region near Rome. Where our ancestors came from, very mountainous, almost as if you stuck West Virginia right along the Mediterranean coast.
Oh, nice.
A lot of small towns, a lot of really fun spots. Jeremy, you stayed in Kitzbühel. Wow.
Nice.
Amazing scene. By the way, for all of you who are watching this, if you have not subscribed to Sorgi Stories and you want to find out when we're doing more of these chats and all our content, hit the subscribe button right now.
Yeah.
Throw on.
Super simple. It's free.
Yep. Hit the notification bell.
Also free.
Ding. And all you need is a Gmail account to do it.
Super simple. Most of you probably have a Gmail.
And that helps our channel in so many ways. Because once we would get to the point of monetization, every dime goes to his college education fund. Every dime of it. So you've mentioned your college football top 10. Mm-hmm. You've also got some picks for the National Football League.
Though I was going to ask everyone a question. Number one, who is your team? Mm-hmm. And number two, Super Bowl prediction. Those are mine. This is a really hard one. When I looked at the bracket and I broke it down, my NFC Championship came down to Packers Rams.
This is assuming Aaron Rodgers remains the quarterback after this whole saga with COVID-19.
And it's the second saga now we've had.
Right.
In the last year.
Which makes me think even more. This is his last year in Green Bay.
Yeah. But Packers Rams is my NFC Championship. In the AFC, I went with maybe an unpopular one.
Okay.
Bengals Colts. That
I don't think either one of those teams are ready for prime time yet.
I think the Bengals will make it out of the lower portion of the bracket. I think that the Colts are going to make a run. And beat the Bills. It's the 1 seed, maybe. That's going to be a really good game. Last year's a great game. And I don't know. It's hard. But you could out of the NFC, I see it being okay, I'm going to go out on a limb. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, Packers Bills.
Yeah.
Or Rams or Packers from the NFC, Bills or Bengals from the AFC.
If I had to predict now, and it's always dangerous to predict in November when the key is to find out who's hot in January and go with them. But if I had to predict right now, the Rams are too stacked. They are too stacked essentially at every position, especially with the passing game.
Their only weakness is running back. And they're not really weak there.
And that's a minuscule aspect.
They got Sonny Michel.
And Cooper Kupp is tearing up.
Oh, thank goodness!
Defenses.
Hey, my good buddy, American Football Network. I think that you're watching. Thank you for trading me Cooper Kupp. Hey, you got Tyreek Hill out of it, so you did get Tyreek Hill in fantasy, but I got Cooper Kupp, and he has saved me so many games.
He's leading the league in both touchdown receptions as well as receiving yards.
Do any of you fantasy football? I'm interested.
I mentioned that. Yeah. Let us know if you do. Chris is telling us, no surprise here. Bengals on my team. The loss against the Jets was a bad one.
That was a super weird game. I will say that. That was really weird. I was high on the Bengals. Now I'm like, okay.
Jets. Jets.
The question is, was that just a little bit of a slip up, or is it really the Bengals?
Was it an anomaly, or was it what you really see? I just think they're too young. They haven't developed enough yet to really be a Super Bowl championship contender at this point.
Jamar Chase is great. You've got so much potential with that team.
I would say at this point, Rams, Bills is a pretty safe bet at this point. I will also say, if Kansas City gets their act together,
I don't see that happening. They've got the Chargers in their division.
No, Chargers aren't exactly killing everybody.
Well, they lost to Baltimore. They lost to New England.
That's your other team, Baltimore.
Baltimore, I was high on, but I'm starting to go down on them. Like, I think that we're going to Packers Ravens. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, if this team is healthy, looking at it, the Packers are going to win because I've lost so much confidence in the Ravens at this point.
Adventures of Scott and Michelle joining us from Metro Chicago. Thanks for popping in. Hey there. Chris saying to get a young Bengals team getting better. They will get better.
Yes.
I think in future years they could be a Super Bowl contender, particularly with Joe Burrow. Scott and Michelle, I know you are Chicago Bears fans.
We forgive you.
We don't just forgive you. We're sorry.
Yes, we are sorry.
And it's not because we're trying to be just super nice about the whole rivalry type of thing. It's that you have a coaching situation and a general manager situation and an ownership situation more than anything that is keeping your team from being what Chicago fans deserve.
Yeah.
I mean, I've spoken ad nauseum about this on Twitter, but when you have an organization who in every single management and coaching pick, general manager and coaching pick, since George Halas died, every single choice you've made from 1993 when the coach started, Coach Dave Wannstedt took over from Mike Ditka, 4 playoff wins, 0 championships in 28 years.
And
37 quarterbacks, by the way.
And by the way, how many playoff wins came in that 2010-11 season?
Just one.
Oh, okay, one.
Just one because they were the number 2 seed.
Okay, so by the way though, Bengals, the Browns visiting Cincinnati. This is going to be a statement game. I got the Bengals at home, but it could go either way. OBJ being cut by the Browns, a little bit of a shocker there.
I want to chime in real quick before you continue. Chris, we want your impersonation of Sam Weish yelling at the fans who are throwing snowballs or stuff onto the field years ago. You don't live in Cleveland. You'll have to show you that video.
And Bears at Steelers Monday night. The Steelers, I have to say, I think they're better. Also, I wouldn't mind the Steelers winning because I've got Najee Harris in my fantasy. I need the win. I need the points from Najee.
Nice.
By the way, I'm not a Bama fan, but I follow them. I like them.
Sooner Girl Travels, I'm again chiming in. Going back in time, Dennis Byrd, the former Jet, living 40 minutes from her, a good guy. He passed away not too long ago, in a car accident close to his home. He had such an incredible story back in the early 1990s when he was a Jet and learning how to walk again after an injury during a game and learning how to regain just his own life and the support he gave the New York Jets and the inspiration he gave that team in the early 90s. Mary chiming in from Milwaukee. She wants to go to Australia. A lot to see there. She would settle for Arizona. Trust me, it's spectacular. Arizona is so incredible of a travel destination. By the way, again, for those who are newcomers out of the chat, tell us about your favorite place that you've ever traveled to that starts with a city, a state, a country, a point of interest that begins with A. Tell us your favorite that begins with A. Arizona is such a place of, I forget if they use the term land of enchantment when you go there, but it is such a special spot for pure natural beauty. Starkness of the desert, and it is so spectacular. And the heat there in summer, we went in July. You can see our link. You can see our link in the chat if you want to check out part of our Arizona trip, and you can check out the other videos from there. In fact, I'm going to quickly surf over and put in a video that had a lot more natural beauty than the video that I initially linked, which was mainly a game experience from there. We're going to show you and link up the Apache Trail video, so feel free to check it out after you're done here. And this is the Arizona natural beauty video that we're going to show you.
We want to go on Route 66 to Bruce spring training.
Oh, by far. That would be such a spectacular trip. You mentioned that Sooner Girl Travels. Route 66 is amazing through Arizona. Chris commenting on the Sam Weiss quote. I was so young for that. I was more of a Browns fan back then because you lived closer to Cleveland and the Bengals were so bad you converted over to Cincinnati in that particular one.
Mentioning Najee Harris and the Steelers and Henry Ruggs. I saw something after the Henry Ruggs accident talking about this. Listen to this 2019 Alabama offense. They didn't even make the playoff this year. I don't think. Quarterback, Tua. Running back.
How do you say his last name?
Tagovailoa.
Yep. Yeah, for those who aren't sports fans who don't know.
Running back, Najee Harris. Wide receiver, Henry Ruggs III. The other wide receiver, Devontae Smith.
Plays here in Philadelphia.
At the slot, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Waddle, two great receivers. Then you have, and that's just part of it. You also have Alex Leatherwood. He was drafted this year, as well as Landon Dickerson, who was also drafted this year. That offense was so great.
It was world class. And by the way, I'm seeing some breaking news updates. It looks as if the SEC is trading Alabama to the AFC South for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No, that's false.
That's an old joke. That's an old joke. But it tells you just how good this program is year in, year out.
No, the old joke was for the what's their name? Whatever. Well, I'm blanking. The Lions, the Jags, they've all been thrown out there.
Chris talking about the fact that she's been to Arizona and just barely in the state of Arizona, right by the Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
Beautiful spot. One recommendation that I'll give you if you ever get the chance. I actually went to a wedding in Vegas in 2015, but I spent most of my time in Arizona on the trip. I'm just not a Vegas guy. I'd rather spend time with family and friends, seeing them in Arizona versus spending all my time in Vegas and the whole gambling scene and everything else. So I drove back and forth to Vegas for the wedding, and I took US Route 93, a spectacular 2-lane road that goes north-south throughout the state. Just mountain after mountain, rock formation after rock formation. Some of the most beautiful terrain I have ever seen in my life. The natural beauty, the creation you see there is just off the charts.
Yeah.
Just off the charts. Adventures of Scott and Michelle. We were talking about this earlier, our Super Bowl picks. You were saying again.
Either the Rams or Packers from the NFC, Bills or Bengals from the AFC.
I'm definitely thinking at this point I'm going to go with the safe bet, the house bet. Rams, Bills right now. I don't see anybody in the playoffs going into Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium and beating the Rams in January. I just don't see it.
Packers Rams. I know you don't think we're gonna lose. I think it's interesting because at Lambeau in November, and the only reason I think we got a shot, Joe Barry used to be the defensive coordinator. He knows that system.
That maybe gives the Packers a chance, but I still don't expect them to go down to LA. They are going to have to get home field advantage.
Yeah, by the way, Devontae Adams today was cleared to play. I'm pretty sure he is in.
So he'll be in the game on Sunday.
Yeah, that's going to be a help. That's why we were talking about Devontae earlier. For those of you who didn't know.
And Devontae Adams, by the way, is the #1 ranked receiver in Pro Football Focus. So still pretty darn good. Though Cooper Kupp leads the NFL in receiving yards and in touchdowns.
They're my fantasy receivers, actually, Kupp and Devontae.
Which means he's tearing it up in this fantasy.
Oh yeah, I've got usually I've got Mahomes starting at running back. Usually Aaron Jones, Cordero Patterson. Cordero Patterson, by the way, shining this year, shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Just came out of the dark in Atlanta. Been playing great, or at least in fantasy. But I know he's been putting up great stats as well. Receiver, I usually have Devontae and Cooper Kupp. Flex depends on the week. My defense is the Bills, and my kicker is Nick Folk from the Patriots. No one knows who he is. I had to pick him up. There's no one. Hey, American Football Network, if you're still watching, listening, whatever, hey, can you trade me Justin Tucker? I saw that. I saw or Tyler Bass. I'll take either of them or whatever Bass. First name is.
Scott and Michelle mentioning that you're thinking Packers, Bengals. Scott is thinking that, and Michelle is thinking the Chicago Bears. Technically, they still have a chance.
Yeah, that I don't have them in playoffs.
And Cinder Girl Travels saying, I guess you know why I have recently become an Arizona Cardinals and Cleveland Browns fan. Whenever you find Oklahoma Sooners.
Baker and Kyler. I've got Kyler on my fantasy team. Sorry, Baker just wasn't good.
And I am so sad, again, J.J. Watt getting injured and missing a good chunk of an entire season because of his injury problems. I had a chance to cover him back when I was with the Wisconsin Badgers radio network as their pregame show host. He was one of the most driven college students I'd ever met in my life. And to see how hard he worked to become one of the best defensive linemen in the National Football League.
JJ, the pride of Pewaukee. #1. There's also TJ and Derek.
Oh, by far.
TJ's teared it up in Pittsburgh.
And so sad to see his injuries come to bite him again.
By the way, punters and fullbacks are people too. That is, they're people. So just kind of be aware of that. Yes, Kyle Juszczyk and Derek Watt are both NFL fullbacks.
Hug your local punter. Hug your local fullback. They need it.
Yeah.
They need it. They're
punters people too.
Becoming endangered species.
Hey, our punter's great though. What's his name? Bajorquez? Yeah, Bajorquez. Yep. He's great.
Yes, he definitely is.
Such an upgrade from again another Alabama grad, J.K. Scott. The Alabama guys are all over the place.
Any last favorite destinations you have of the letter A? Your favorite travel destinations, cities, states, countries, places you've been to. I'm going to give you a place that I would love to go to that is ridiculously underrated, specifically for the beaches. I see a lot of travel channels that we are friends with in the YouTube verse that have gone there. I believe If We Go To, in fact, went there as well. Albania. And you want to know why? Their beaches face the west.
I think I heard.
And it's very inexpensive in comparison to some of the other European countries you would travel to.
I feel like I've seen something on YouTube about Albania, but I'm trying to make sure it's not mixed. I'm not getting it mixed up with another country. What's Albania's flag?
Oh, it's red and black with, I think, something gold in the middle. I forget what it is.
I need to make sure I'm getting the right country.
But so he's switching from Alabama to Albania.
Oh yeah,
discussion.
Save the. Yeah.
And while you're typing that in, here, I'll type it in for you. Who's West Virginia flying?
I have no idea.
Oh, it's a red flag with a black bird. Like about a 15 winged black bird almost.
Yeah, Wisconsin's playing Rutgers. I have no idea.
That's right.
Who?
They are playing Rutgers.
I have no idea who West Virginia is playing.
Let's see. We'll have to look that up very quickly.
Yeah,
because, again, my wife is from West Virginia.
Let's go, Mountaineers! Let's go, Mountaineers!
When we went to Pittsburgh to see the Brewers play the Pirates, we ended our trip at Forbes Field, the outfield wall of Forbes Field, where the Pirates used to play, as well as the Pitt Panthers, as well as the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's on the Pitt campus. So, of course, what does he end the video with? That exact chant. I thought we were going to have stuff thrown at us.
Oh, that's right. Number 11 OSU coming into Morgantown.
And we're not talking Ohio State. We're talking Oklahoma State.
Let's go, Mountaineers. Let's get that dub and prove the world that we're good.
And thankfully, Mommy is actually still awake at this point, so I'm sure she's enjoying that chant, and it's not keeping her awake when she's trying to sleep.
Yeah. 3:30 on what?
It is I believe, a 3:30 kickoff. Well, we don't need to advertise.
I know. I just want to know what it's on.
And Chris telling us, say hello to Anonymami for me. We absolutely will for you. We know the two of you want to connect at some point.
And you have been connecting through social media, I know.
By far. Thank you. Unless you got something else up your sleeve?
There's nothing.
Thank you so much, all of you.
Yes.
For joining our conversation that's gone about 50 minutes. You've been on with us in this first launch of a non-test pattern version of Sorgi Sports Weekend. Sports Plus Weekend, if you really will. Really. Since we're going to talk more than just sports on this thing. But that's certainly his passion. Let him drive the bus a lot when it comes to these live talks. Passion. Oh, by far. I've covered it for much of my life professionally, so certainly. Absolutely. Absolutely. So definitely hit the subscribe button. And then what do you do? Ding. 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 Hit that bell. Thank you, Wayside Wade and Sooner Girl Travels, for joining us as well, especially.
Yes, everyone in the entire chat.
Everyone in the chat, subscribe to all your channels.
Yay.
Help each other out there.
Yes.
Help each other out there.
Yeah, thanks to everyone in the chat for coming. I know that there might be some people watching/listening not in the chat. You're still awesome.
Yes, you are.
All of you are awesome.
Subscribe to all the channels that have been part of this chat.
Yeah.
For little buddy, I'm Daddy. You can find us out.
So long from Sorgi Story Studios in Philadelphia. And this has nothing to do with baseball, but go, Pat, go!